Everyone. I think I started off my last video a little bit low-key. It's tiring dealing with my son's paperwork and that. Whatever I deal with him, I have to make sure that if I set up an account, I have to have access. He doesn't manage his own affairs very well. It's his attention deficit stuff. And we all learn after a while that there's nobody out there who cares about you better than you. Squirrels like throwing nuts down from trees, no matter where they are. Okay. I want to do a quick Rapture heart-to-heart talk about what's going on with that. We've been in kind of a rapture flurry. Everybody's all excited about it. They think it's right here now, and we better get ready. Well, as always, it is imminent. But it has been imminent since Paul talked about it. We don't know when it is other than it's in the beginning of everything. The only thing that we really have to definitively say when things are, we can go to the end and back up. We can get to the midway point, the abomination of desolation. And then after that, we really don't have any keys that we can put a timeline on. The people have tried. If we're talking about the Revelation 12 rapture, and the word there is harpazo, then it's got to be secret. Because we don't know when that time is. Now, granted, it can happen, like I said, any time. The world is certainly setting up for it, but we're not there yet. Everyone wants to associate it with some kind of a special event. Let's make it line up on the day that everything happened in the past. The rapture, I think, is a unique one-off that will not do that. The second coming, yeah, that can come on a special day. But I think the rapture is unique. As a whole, taking the church out is a unique event. Individuals have been raptured. Individuals have been taken up into heaven. That's how Christ left, and that's how he's coming back. But he's not coming to the earth. He's coming to the clouds. So this is a unique event. And it's tied to our safety more than anything. It's getting dangerous out there. You see what it's like now just to be a Jew in the world. And don't get me wrong, the world hasn't turned to hate. Those are paid assassins, if you will. Instigators. They get in a peaceful crowd and then they gin up some damage and hate. They're paid to do that by the devil through these various pawns. But the rapture's still not yet, so this isn't bad enough. I have the ranger coming by on his morning inspection. I have to wave to him when he comes by. This is his last year of managing this place. He's a year younger than me, but he's tired of it, I guess. Okay, there he goes. Try to talk to as many people as you can wherever you are. Break up conversations. You don't have to start talking about the Lord. you want to get to it, but you want to find some common ground first. Just talk to them, find out where they're at, how they're feeling. If they're having a troubled time in their life, it's a good opportunity to jump in with an answer, because they probably don't have one. That's why we're here. We're not here to watch videos, although those are fun to watch. I've already watched some this morning, and I will continue to watch all day. I think this is a day late. I'm going to try to get it up a little later here today and not wait till tomorrow. I've been dealing with my son, and I haven't been keeping track of time. He doesn't have any money, so they closed his bank account. Well, he's got to have a bank account, because that's how I send him money when he needs to. Well, they're going to lose me too, because I got to be at the same bank he is, so that if he needs money, I can transfer it immediately. He's been in situations where I need it now, not in 2 days. And when you do a transfer to somebody to another bank, more than likely it goes the very first day you enter it to that bank. And then they hold that money in a temporary trust, make money off of it, and then deposit it in the other person's account eventually. It's a gimmick. Jesus didn't like the money changers. Well, that's essentially what these kind of deals are. They're money changers. All right. So don't lose hope for any of this stuff. It's all coming. It's just a matter of time. The war's continuing in Israel. The faster they go, the more dead on their side. So they want to go slow. You got to find there's somebody sitting behind a rock someplace ready to kill you. You don't go running out into the field. You work your way around until you can see the whole battle zone, and you try to eliminate these. And they have snipers. They showed a soldier who was shot by a sniper. Not after he was shot, but what he looked like before. He was getting ready to go out and check out something, and they caught him. Now, they probably killed the sniper. That's the one problem with snipers, is that once you shoot, they know where it came from. All right, so I'm going to read a little bit out of Matthew 24. These are very familiar verses, should be. All kinds of activity around. Squirrels. We just had a big flock of geese. If I was out here, I would have filmed it. Flew by behind me and landed over there somewhere. Far enough away that we can't hear them chattering. We have another camper going to come in right into that spot right there. I think he's in some kind of a metal box. Trailer, camper, whatever, I don't know. It's not a tent. I'm unique in having a tent. There is a guy down here who's in a tent. And he's in a non-electric site because it's cheaper. And he has a generator, which you can't really hear. He plays his radio, though. He charges up his batteries while he's sleeping, and then he plays his radio. That you can hear. And it's not up. He's not up this morning, or you'd hear it. Got to be forgiving a little bit. All right, so I'm going to read out of Matthew 24. They just come from the temple. This is the Sabbath. They marveled at it, his disciples. And he said, not a stone will stand. Every stone will be taken down to the ground. And it was. So he was prophetic in that and correct. But then they asked him, what will the end of the age be like? So in Matthew 24:4, Jesus answered them and said, take heed that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. Now, I don't know that many people coming around saying, I'm Jesus Christ, but I have heard of a few. More than that, we have people who claim to have had a revelation from him and come up with their new doctrine of this new religion, whether they're, well, I don't want to get into cult names, but you probably know them all. They've pulled people from the fringes. It'd be hard for them to pull the hardcore, because this is it. That's the only Bible that we're supposed to be looking at. However, within our Bible group of Christian churches, the Catholics have added some additional books. So it makes it hard to say you can't exist as a Christian church unless you have this one and only book. The other books that they include were ones that they didn't feel were God-inspired. They may be historical books, but they're not God-inspired. At least not the way this book was. As this is put together, you need to believe pretty much everything inside of here. The only part that I might have questions about would be on the cover page. You know. Know the word. But everything in between, you better believe. All right, continuing on. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you're not troubled, for all these things he's talking about must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, ethnos against ethnos, ethnic groups against ethnic groups. That's Jews and Muslims. They're related. And there will be famines and pestilence and the earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. The beginning of labor. Very beginning. And this is not a 9-month labor, unfortunately. This takes some time. But he who endures to the end shall be saved. I'm jumping down to 13. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached to all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. So there's a quick summary in there. And it goes on, talks about the tribulation. You can read it. And eventually it talks about the coming of the Son of Man, which is what this is about. This is not about the rapture. And not knowing the day or the hour, in 36, where it jumps to that, he's talking about his coming, not the rapture. Jesus is talking to Jews. There's no need to tell them about a rapture. Jews are not going to be raptured. Christians will be raptured. So you can be a Christian Jew, a Christian Hindu. You can, whatever your beginning is, it doesn't matter. As long as you become a Christian before the rapture, you can be raptured. But being a Jew alone is not it. They are the chosen people. God's going to focus on them. That's why we're still talking about them. That's why they're in a war right now from a group that wants to annihilate them. They don't want a two-state solution. They want to eliminate the Jews. And they've said that on the news repeatedly, and everybody just goes in one ear and out the other. This is going to escalate. It is. They're doing things that aren't pushing us all the way. But somebody's going to. When you're in a battle zone, it didn't take a whole lot to start World War I. It didn't take a whole lot to get us into World War II. Pearl Harbor was a lot, but it was in it was in one area, in a harbor. They didn't attack New York. They didn't. The Muslims have, and we still are not fully at war with them. We knew who was behind it, and we went and got that individual. But you cut the head off of one snake, another one will pop up. Hydra. If you're a mythical fan or Marvel fan. Don't give up hope. Don't sit back and wait because it's right now. And you don't have to do anything because you don't have any time. So get out and do something. But also don't lose hope. He's not going to abandon us down here in this mess. If you're a post-trib person, abandon that philosophy. Well, there is a post-trib, but it's not us. There's a pre-trib and a mid-trib and a post-trib. There's three. It's easy to get them confused. But God's not going to leave us down here. You got to remember why he did all this and how many times he said that he loves us. He's not going to let us go through all the tribulation. There's no reason for it. The tribulation and all the stuff that's happening now is waking people up. If you're a Christian, you've already been woken up. But we're in the way, so just like right now, they're allowing some Gazans in the northern area to flee to the south. They're going to go after the headquarters under the hospital, but they're allowing the Gazans to flee. They're not being punished the way the terrorists are. We're not going to be punished the way the non-believers are. And in God's loving way, they're going to start gradually and increase. Israel has been doing that with their attacks. They're working their way in. They didn't go right after the heart of the beast, the headquarters underneath the hospital. They had launchers in playgrounds for launching missiles, knowing that if they retaliated, they'd hit a playground. This is satanic evil. Yet these people have bought into it. And you've seen videos, I have anyway, where they show little kids in elementary school running around carrying guns. I don't understand what they're saying, but it's probably something, Allah Akbar or something. It's, kill the Jews, whatever else they're saying. They're taught this at a young age. They don't know any better. Jesus said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So you got to forgive them. But the terrorists, you can't commit these atrocities and have a Christian heart. All right, well, here comes another vehicle. I think I'll walk around a little bit. I don't know if I showed, I think I showed my video the last time I was showing you the lake, how dry it was. I'll see if I can find some birds and get them in here. There's no light this morning. That's why every time I turn my face, it goes dark. The sun's not up yet. That is the ranger. He went down to the end behind me and sat for a while. Probably watched the birds, so I'll go down there and see what I can see. And I'll include that if I can find some. There's birds all over the place, but they go to have breakfast, and there's an IHOP back there, I think. Don't give up hope. We're still here. There's still a rapture, but it's not bad enough yet. So get out there and help. There are places where they are killing Christians. Africa would be a good place, because they're Muslims. Africa is becoming more, Muslim religion is spreading. And it will, because it's God's chosen people, the Muslims. See what happens when Abram didn't trust God? We have to deal with it. But the Muslim religion teaches peace. The terrorists don't believe it, and they have their own version. God will deal with them. And we may be able to save some terrorists. Who knows? They're wrong. As soon as they see they're wrong and realize what they've been doing, they'd be ripe for coming to God, the true God. So don't give up on people. Don't condone their behavior. No. It's an atrocity to see what they've done. It was an atrocity to see what Hitler did. Pray for everyone. Pray for people on my channel. I have people asking for prayers all the time. I write them down on my list. I need to hear some good news sometimes, so on these prayer requests, you got to tell me that God answered it. Okay? That way everybody knows. Pray for me in this ministry. Pray for my son. We're trying to get him settled. Pray for the world if you want, but in most cases it's your will be done, Father, because we don't know what to pray for. We're not going to come out of this. We could have individual revivals, but we're not going to get the United States back where it was. It's too far gone. Satan has got too big of a hold on it through the harlot, and they're not going to give it up. And yes, we could command the devil and any of his people in Jesus' name. But this is the direction that the prophecies are. We can't go against prophecy. Our job now is just to simply get the gospel out. It's got to go around the world. Then we can get out of here. So help that. All right. And a helicopter flying over. I can't see him. It's too foggy. But he's up there somewhere. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless. Let's walk on down here to the lake's edge and see what we can see. I think the birds have already flown around. I see a couple of cranes across the other side, probably too small for you to see. I got to be careful that I don't get stuck in the mud like I did the last time. The grass is still a little wet from the dew in the morning. And that green over there, that's where the mud is. It's green because there's water. This was where all the grass was cut. There's hardly any wind. I don't feel any at all. I can't walk over to that tree from here because I have to walk through mud. I'd have to go up to the road and come back down. I don't see any birds. I know they all flew by. And you'd hear them chattering if they were close by. There was a movie out that I like, North by Northwest. You know I talk about movies. Cary Grant. He was kidnapped. And he was trying to describe, he was in the trunk of a car and he was trying to describe where he was at as they were driving along, and he heard certain things outside and he remembered them. At one point he said there's a party going on. You could hear all the chattering of people talking. What he really heard was a bunch of geese out on a lake. When they went out trying to find the direction they went, they found the lake. And he goes, that's what I heard. So you get a bunch of geese talking. It sounds like people talking. All right. Look at that piece of trash in the water. That was there before and it's still there, and I can't get to it because that's too much mud to walk in. And that's water's not very deep out there. That may be 2 feet. You could almost walk across that. There might be a channel that might be deeper, but that's it. I see a crane over there. You can hear that one lone goose out there. Okay, that's all I can come up with. That point is where they were catching a lot of crappie. They're real small fish, bony. They're almost not worth catching. Guess I'm going to head back up. We got one lonely camper there, no electricity. There's my campsite. There's 3 campers there. They've already gone to work. All right, I'll start heading back up. Keep busy. Time goes by faster when you're busy. It crawls when you're sitting around with nothing to do, waiting. And everybody, I've talked about this before, can find something to do. You don't have to be able to walk or talk. You can just sit. They've got computers now. You can do that. They've got, if you don't have one, they've got phone trees that you can call people. There's all kinds of things you can do. I want to move my tarp up a little bit. I put the tarp on it to block the sun, not rain. And we're going to get rain over the next week. So I think I'll bring it over and where I can use it better for that. It's the same kind of tent I've always had. I like it. It's easy to put up. I have to lash it like I have over here. If the wind blows, which it does, it can blow that over. So let me get this tarp reconfigured, and you guys have a blessed day.